The lights of the America's Got Talent stage flickered softly, shimmering against the faces of thousands waiting in anticipation. The crowd was buzzing, a sea of excitement and whispers echoing around the theater. The judges' panel glowed under the spotlight: Simon Cowell, Heidi Klum, Sofia Vergara, and Howie Mandel, each ready for another round of hopefuls dreaming to change their lives forever. Then, the doors at the back of the stage slid open, and a quiet figure stepped into the light. A young Filipino man, modestly dressed in a simple black jacket and jeans, walked to the center of the stage. He wasn't tall or flashy. He carried no band, no backup dancers, no dramatic entrance, just a microphone in his trembling hands and a humble smile on his face. The crowd's chatter softened as he reached the mark on the floor. The man took a deep breath and whispered something almost no one could hear, a prayer, perhaps. His eyes glimmered with nervous hope. Simon looked at him with his usual curiosity. "Hello," Simon said in his calm British tone, "what's your name, and where are you from?" The man's voice was gentle, slightly shaky. "My name is Raphael. I'm from the Philippines." A few people in the audience clapped instantly, some even waving tiny flags. Simon smiled slightly. "Raphael from the Philippines. What will you be doing for us tonight?" "I'll be singing, sir," Raphael replied. Simon tilted his head. "Okay, what kind of music?" Raphael smiled nervously. "I'll be singing a song by Elvis Presley." The audience murmured. A few eyebrows raised. Elvis, the king of rock and roll. Many contestants had tried before, and most had failed. Elvis was sacred ground. Simon leaned back in his chair. "That's a big name to take on." "Why Elvis?" Raphael's answer silenced the crowd. "Because my father loved Elvis. He used to sing his songs every morning before work. When he passed away, I promised I'd sing one for him one day, on a big stage." The theater went quiet. Even Sophia's smile softened. The camera zoomed in on Raphael's eyes. They were full of pain, but also fire. Simon nodded slowly. "All right, Raphael, the stage is yours." The lights dimmed. A soft guitar riff filled the air. It was the opening of "Can't Help Falling in Love." The audience recognized it instantly. But what came next no one could have predicted. The first words escaped Raphael's lips, and the entire theater froze. "Wise men say, only fools rush in." His voice was soft but golden, like honey mixed with heartbreak. It wasn't just a copy of Elvis, it carried the same soul, the same warmth, but something else too. Something that came from years of singing under the rain, from long nights in Manila streets, from a boy who once sang just to feel close to his father again. Simon's eyebrows shot up. He leaned forward. Heidi clasped her hands near her mouth. Raphael continued, eyes closed, completely lost in the melody. "But I can't help falling in love with you." The crowd began swaying without realizing it. A woman in the front row wiped her tears. The sound was hauntingly pure. It wasn't a performance, it was a confession of love, loss, and memory. Then, midway through the song, the instrumental changed. A full orchestral swell rose from the background. The lights turned gold. Raphael opened his arms and hit a note so powerful that the audience gasped. Simon's lips parted slightly, his signature look when something truly surprises him. The emotion in Raphael's voice deepened. He poured every ounce of his soul into each word. "Take my hand, take my whole life too." The entire theater was on its feet before he even reached the final line. And when he sang the last note, holding it for what felt like forever, his voice soared higher than anyone expected. As the note faded, there was silence. A second of disbelief. Then, an explosion of applause. The crowd roared. People screamed. Some shouted his name. Others simply stood crying and clapping. Heidi stood up first, clapping above her head. Howie and Sophia joined in. But Simon stayed seated, staring deeply at Raphael. His eyes were glimmering in the light. Finally, Simon stood. The crowd grew even louder. Raphael covered his face, tears flowing freely now. He couldn't believe what was happening. Simon spoke softly. "You know, I've heard a lot of Elvis covers in my life. But I've never heard one like that. That wasn't just a song, you told your story. You made Elvis proud tonight." The crowd erupted again. Heidi added, "You made me fall in love with that song all over again." Sophia smiled warmly. "You sang it like it came from your soul." Howie leaned in. "That was magic. You took a song we've all heard 1,000 times and made it your own. It's like Elvis was reborn through your voice." Raphael couldn't stop shaking. He pressed his hands together and whispered, "Thank you so much, thank you." Simon looked at him, a small smirk forming. He glanced at the golden buzzer in front of him. The crowd noticed and started chanting. Press it, press it, press it. Raphael froze. His lips trembled. Could this be happening? Simon looked at his fellow judges. Heidi nodded. Howie gave a knowing smile. Sophia whispered something to Simon and smiled too. Then Simon turned back to Raphael. Raphael, you came here to honor your father, right? Yes, sir. Well, Simon said, I think he's watching right now, and I think he's very, very proud. And with that, Simon pressed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti exploded from above, showering Raphael in light and gold. The crowd screamed, the music swelled, and Raphael fell to his knees, crying uncontrollably. Simon walked up to the stage, something he rarely does. He shook Raphael's hand and then hugged him tightly. You earned this, Simon whispered. You earned every second. Raphael could barely speak. Thank you, sir. This is for my dad. The golden light reflected off the tears on his cheeks as the audience cheered endlessly. The cameras zoomed out. Simon, the man known for his cold judgment, was smiling like a proud mentor. Heidi and Sophia clapped with shining eyes. Howie gave Raphael a standing ovation that lasted long after the buzzer lights faded. Backstage, Raphael's mother stood watching on the monitor. She covered her mouth, sobbing as she saw her son kneeling on the stage covered in gold. He did it, she whispered, he really did it. The video of his audition would later go viral across the world. Within hours, millions had watched it. Comment sections flooded with love from every corner of the globe. The Filipino Elvis, they called him. The voice of an angel. Even Elvis would have cried, but behind that viral fame was a story few knew. Raphael had grown up in the small city of Davao, where his father, a jeepney driver, used to sing Elvis songs to passengers to make them smile. Money was tight, but music filled their home with joy. His father believed that even when life gave you nothing, a song could give you hope. When his father fell ill, Raphael would sing for him every night. On his final day, his father whispered, Promise me one thing, son. Don't stop singing. One day, sing on a stage so the world can hear you. Raphael carried that promise like a heartbeat. He worked odd jobs, delivering food, cleaning tables, even sleeping on floors, to save money for his audition flight. Many nights, he sang alone by the window, imagining that stage. And that day, under the golden rain of confetti, he kept his promise. The next episode showed Raphael's journey through the competition, each performance built upon the last, powerful ballads, soulful covers, and a duet with a famous American singer that brought tears to millions. But none of it could top that first audition, the one that changed everything. Simon often mentioned him in interviews. There's something about Raphael, he'd say. He reminds you why we do this show. It's not just about fame, it's about heart. In the semifinals, Raphael chose another Elvis song, If I Can Dream. He said, Elvis dreamed of a better world. My father dreamed I'd stand here. So tonight, I sing for both of them. When he began, the stage turned dark blue. The orchestra hummed behind him. His voice was stronger now, confident but still humble. He didn't just sing the words, he lived them. While I can think, while I can talk, while I can stand, while I can walk. The final verse sent chills through every person in that room. When he finished, the crowd was in tears again. Simon wiped his eye quietly. You just gave us one of the best performances in AGT history, he said. The finale came weeks later. Raphael stood among the finalists, nervous but proud. Win or lose, he had already fulfilled a dream. He held a small pendant around his neck. It was his father's old locket with Elvis's picture inside. When the final votes were read, Raphael didn't win first place. But that didn't matter. The world already knew his name. Within hours, record labels reached out, invitations from TV shows poured in, and his audition continued to trend across continents. But Raphael stayed grounded. In his first post-show interview, he said softly, winning isn't about trophies. It's about making someone up there proud. And I think I did. Months later, a clip surfaced online, Raphael standing at his father's grave, holding the golden confetti from his audition. He placed it beside a photo of his father wearing an Elvis shirt. We did it, Dad, he whispered. We made it to the big stage. The wind blew softly as he sang one last time, no audience, no cameras, just a son singing for his father again. Wise men say, only fools rush in. Tears rolled down his face as he finished the song. It was raw, real, beautiful. That clip, though filmed quietly on a phone, went viral too. People called it one of the most emotional videos ever. It reminded everyone that fame fades, but love, and music, live forever. Back on AGT, Simon mentioned Raphael again during another season. Every once in a while, Simon said, a voice walks in and reminds us why we started doing this show. Raphael was one of those voices. Pure, honest, unforgettable. Even years later, Raphael continued to perform around the world. In every concert, he ended with the same words, "This is for my dad, and for everyone who ever dreamed." He sang Elvis songs not as an imitation, but as a celebration of life, love, and legacy. People came from miles away to see him perform. And every time he sang, he smiled, because he knew someone up there was listening. The final moment of his journey wasn't on a grand stage or under golden confetti, it was in his heart, knowing he had kept his promise. Because sometimes, the most powerful performances aren't just about music, they're about love that refuses to fade. And that's what Raphael gave to the world. When a Filipino started singing Elvis, even Simon Cowell couldn't believe it. But maybe, just maybe, it wasn't Elvis's voice he heard that day, it was the voice of a son keeping his father's dream alive. And as the camera faded out, showing Raphael walking off stage, holding his golden buzzer moment close to his heart, the audience knew they had witnessed something timeless. A moment of truth, a moment of love, a moment that would echo forever.